Okay, today we're learning about lesson 4.6a, which is about functions. And a function is basically a relation in which each element of the domain, or the x values, is paired with exactly one element of the range. So, there's different ways to identify whether or not something is a function. Okay, so in this example, with a mapping that we have here, we can see that, yes, this is a function. And we can tell this because every x value only has one y value that's associated with it. So, for instance, even though -1 and 6 go together and +1 and 6 go together, that's okay. We didn't have an x value that went to more than one y value. So an example of one that would not be a function would be the following. Okay, so in the second example, the answer would be no, that's not a function, because -4 is paired with both 9 and 6. So that would make that not a function. So it's okay if an x value, if more than one x value is paired with a y value, like in the first example, but it's not okay if an x value is paired with more than one y value. Okay, in this example that we see here, it's not, this is not a function. And the reason that we can tell that it's not a function is because we have 2 paired with 5 right here, and we also have 2 paired with 4 right there. So we can't have an x value that's paired with more than one y value, so this is not a function. All right, so you can tell this by doing tables or by doing mappings or just by looking at the set of ordered pairs. Another way that you can tell is by using something that we call the vertical line test. Okay, so in order to do a vertical line test, if I have a graph that looks something like this, okay, this is a function, and the way that I can tell that it's a function is if I drew a vertical line anywhere on the graph, it would only hit my line in one place. Okay, so it passes the vertical line test. An example of something that would not pass the vertical line test, if we drew another set of axes right here, would be something that looked like that. This would not pass the vertical line test because if I try to draw a vertical line on the graph, my vertical line hits the graph of my line in two places. So this would not be a function. Okay, so that's the vertical line test. Draw a vertical line anywhere on the graph. If you can draw it anywhere on the graph and you hit your line in more than one place, then it's not a function. If it only hits in one place, intersects in one place, then it is a function. Okay, so how can we tell if something's a function by looking at the equation of the line? Well, if we can put it into slope-intercept form, then it is a function. Okay, so if I can manipulate this equation to put it into slope-intercept form, which I can, add 2x to both sides, and then divide both sides by 4, y is equal to 1/2 x. Okay, so if I can put that into slope-intercept form, then yes, it's a function. Okay, so most lines that, and anything that's linear, we taught you the other day about how to look at an equation and determine whether or not it's linear. Well, if it's linear, it is also a function. So that's one way that you can tell. You can do a test for linearity on it. And let's just briefly review that. In order to be linear, it can't have variables with exponents, and it can't have variables multiplied together in the same term. Okay, so if you don't see those things, then the equation is linear, and then yes, it is a function. So tonight you're going to have a fairly easy assignment because all of your answers will be yes and no. It will simply be determining whether each relation is a function, so your entire worksheet will be yes or no answers, which rarely happens in math. So I hope you got something from this video, and tomorrow we'll discuss it a little bit more in class.